here. As soon as they all tell me they're ready, we got 2 out of 3 saying they're ready to go. I just want to make sure we got all of them here. Pretty sure Benshow is ready. He's just not typing anything, and it looks like Aezir is ready as well. So we're gonna go ahead and get these guys started off. So I know you didn't get to hear it, but I gave a rundown of how important these matches are for both these competitors. With being in the 1-on-1 bracket, you know, you're definitely going to have some fierce competition coming into this. And this is basically do or die for you at this point. And for the 2-0 matches, this is basically for your chance to be in on the bracket stage for the entirety of the tournament. And all of our runners are off. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to change our battle speed up down to 6, and we're going to switch our message speed up to 1. And we're going to set our cursor to memory. Alright, so you want to explain how we're going to go through these fights here as we move through Narshe. Alright, so as we go through Narshe here, we're going to basically be using Bile Blast with Terra to take out the enemies, and we're going to be taking out some specific enemies that are going to be a little bit of an issue for us. We've got the Lobos that we just took out there that are a tiny bit of a problem, because they have a can't run flag on them.
That is correct. Those Lobos are going to prevent Vix and Wedge, who are dirty experienced thieves, from running. We want our mystery warrior here to get all of that precious green goo experience. And that's necessary for to prevent some early grinding and to keep everyone on step route, assuming that they are. And with records like this, I'm going to assume that they are all on step route.
Yeah, so looking at our PBs for our competitors here, we got Benshow up in the top left corner with a 127.58 Kefka Narshe PB. We got XCodes sitting with a 132.29 PB. We have Aezir with a 139.17, and we have DanielRGT sitting with a 130.38 as their PBs listed on their splits here.
So with that, all of these races should be pretty close. Aezir might be just a little outclassed, but even still, it should be fairly close.
Well, I've seen some competitors in this tournament come out with minute PBs, like insanely huge PBs in these races. So yeah,
so. And that's just, they may not be saving their PBs on their splits when they get them, so these may not necessarily be 100% accurate.
Well, I don't think that's just that some people just have a really good run and they feel good about themselves afterwards because they just played so well in that match. And that's what's been happening with some of these runners, is we've had some runners come up with like start with like a 130 or something like that, or like a 140, and coming down with almost a 130 in their matches.
Yeah, sometimes the nerves of being in a match aren't necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes people just perform better in pressure situations. Those in the biz like to call that clutch performance.
Alright, so for Welk, we're going to be shooting tech missiles at him and hopefully having no problems with those going off. And we're going to hope that we can get off a fire beam on the second, after the second tech missile before Welk attacks to be able to get the quick kill here. We see at least one successful quick kill. It looks like 2 successful quick kills here.
Yeah, it looks like Aezir did get that quick kill off, and that puts him well ahead of DanielRGT at this point.
Alright, so now we see on Benshow's and Aezir's ends here that we're going to be renaming this character here. Her name is Tara, but we're going to just name her T. The reason for this is because this game has scrolling text. And we want to make it so that there's not quite as much for us to scroll through, so putting their names down to a single character helps out a lot with that.
Yeah, for each letter that the game has to write, it costs you 2 frames. Each frame takes roughly 0.02 seconds, and over the course of this dialogue-heavy hour and a half to 2 hour run, depending on skill, all that dialogue, just taking away those couple of frames for these character names is going to save you, can save you upwards of 2 to 3 minutes. I don't know if anyone's actually done the calculations, but it's very significant even in this short run. If you start moving into the full game category, it can save you just a lot of time. So it's something that's highly recommended. There's only going to be one character in which we don't do that to, because he has so little dialogue that it actually costs you more time to shorten his name rather than to leave it, and that will be Shadow once we get to Sabin's scenario. So now we see here in the salt mines of Narshe, these are intended battles that you're going and the reason for that is not level 6. So not only does that get her that extra spell, but it will actually also both Locke and Edgar to spawn in at a higher. So just a little bit of grinding now saves a lot of. So we see up here on Ben that he's into flash flashback cutscene where Terra has put the has been crowned with the and is now frying up those Magitech Knights. Burnt. Burnt cream is in the bathroom, kids. He claims he's a treasure hunter, but he's a thief because all the treasure he's hunting is in other people's pockets.
So in this fight, we're gonna hope for in the Marshal fight we don't get stopped by him. We don't get magneted by the Marshal. It'll cause us to have to wait for the Marshal to stop, and it will give us a little bit of time lost then. As we can see, Aezir just barely missed that step.
The goal here is to effectively rob the Moogle, save the girl. And it looks like Ben here is the first to make it through his martial fight, with DanielRGT not too far behind him. So they'll be making their escape out the back door of Narshe and on their way out to Castle Figaro here very shortly.
Alright, so since we're on a step route for all these runners here, we're going to see very specific encounters as we walk down through towards Figaro here. We should only see Leafers as long as we're walking properly, and it's going to look like we're kind of walking diagonally and avoiding this forest completely. Alright, so now we're meeting our next character in this run, which is the King of Figaro, E.
Daniel and Ben have referred to. So this is one of the longest areas of just walking and cutscening in the game, next to camp cutscene later on in the Sabin scenario. But it doesn't feel so bad comparatively because you actually get to do a little bit of walking between each cutscene, I feel. Met the Edgar, shortened down to E, and now we're off to learn about his twin brother Sabin. Cutscenes in here. And now a messenger from the Empire. And this is now where we formally get introduced to that wonderful villain that everybody loves to hate, the Psycho Clown Mage, Kefka.
So there's one thing that these runners can do, and we'll probably see most of them try for it, and that's going to be they're going to talk to each guard, and if you do this in each frame, we'll get a staring contest. As we can see, Bensho got this perfectly.
Yes, this is one part of the 3 points of validation of this run. This being the hardest, achieving the staring contest here. It ends up being like maybe a 1 second time save if you can get it, but it's really inconsequential as far as that's concerned. A little bit of technical difficulties there. Do apologize. I'll keep you abreast of what's going on here with our bottom two runners, Aezir and DanielRGT. Aezir is now just having Locke escort Terra to her room, whereas you can see that Terra has been fully escorted, and she's outright calling Locke a thief, as he is. Locke pulls out his magical teleporting cheatiness, and if only he could use it in more often where it would actually be productive, instead of just escorting Terra to a room off to the side. Freaking Locke. And now we see that a stone castle on fire. I call magical shenanigans because, well, I don't have any other explanation for lighting a stone castle on fire without the use of some other form of accelerant. But Edgar, being the mechanical genius he is, has already pre-planned for this and can make his stone castle submerge into the sand. And even magical fires, or those using accelerants, still need oxygen to burn. And what sand is really great at is smothering out oxygen. So, no oxygen, no fire. And then we come into the second easiest boss fight of this game, the Magitech armor fight. And all you'll see here is Edgar shoot them twice with his amazing auto crossbow. One thing that I highly recommend that you won't see them do is use magic of any kind from now until they reach South Figaro, and that is because, at least in combat, if they do, there's a cool little cutscene, takes about 40 seconds, and in a speed run, 40 seconds is a lot of time. So that's why they won't use it, but this game casually, and let's face it, you're going to, because FF6, best game of all time. I highly recommend that you do it. And it's basically just Locke and Edgar freaking out over seeing magic being cast. They know Terra can use magic, but knowing and seeing are two completely different things. Great little cutscene. I highly recommend you do it every time you play. Spinal Tap, they do get the Genji Glove. And actually, getting the Genji Glove is actually faster than getting the Gauntlet because of the because of a roughly 40 second to maybe 2 minute, I don't remember the exact time, cutscene of the strategy session that they do if you accept the Gauntlet. So they do get the Genji Glove. Not only that, is the Gauntlet is broken in the bad way, where it doesn't do what it's supposed to do, and the Genji Glove is broken in the good way, where it does what it's supposed to do without the penalties. So here in the Cave to South Figaro, you're going to see these runners fight everything, and that's because it can all be killed in one round of the auto crossbow, with the exception of the Blearies if the auto crossbow rolls its absolute lowest damage. So you'll see them use Edgar first with his auto crossbow command, and then just queue up fight commands with Locke and Terra just as backup.
Alright, so now that we've hit South Figaro here, we went and bought some sprint shoes and equipped them on Terra. She's going to be the one character that gets them for now. We bought 3 because we're going to give them to a few other people, and we're going to talk to the Chocobo guy here, who's going to tell us, hey, you know what? This is how you ride a Chocobo, because you haven't rode one before, obviously.
Yeah, even though you smell like Chocobo from riding a Chocobo, well, I'm going to tell you how to ride a Chocobo, because you need to learn how to ride a Chocobo. Oh, and it looks like XCodes got a little bit of an NPC block there, so that'll cost him just a little bit of time. And one thing I like to do here that a lot more seasoned runners tend not to do is I'll end up buying a star pendant here in South Figaro to deal with the poison that comes up in Mount Colt's coming up. But a lot of the more seasoned runners, or more experienced runners, will bypass that. And the basic strategy here on Mount Colts is if you're inside, run. If you're outside, kill it. With 2 crossbow bolts to the face.
Well, for the most part, outside of the cave, you're going to want to use 1 auto crossbow, and you're going to want to use fire with Terra on usually the Tusker, because that will guarantee that you'll be killing off all the enemies you need to. And also, we're going to hope for a preemptive at some point in this, to be able to unequip Edgar's pike or unequip Edgar's blade and give him pike instead. And then we're going to give Locke that blade, since he'll be able to make more use of it than Edgar will.
Yeah, and you'll also see, like you're seeing here on Aezir's screen, that they went up and a little bit out of their way to pick up the Atlas Armlet, which increases damage done by physical attacks, and that's just not the fight commands, that's any attack that does physical damage, like the auto crossbow. Looks like DanielRGT able to get his weapon swap off. Now, what they're going to be aiming for here in these fights before they get to Vargas is they're going to want Edgar to be level 10, Locke to be level 9, and Terra to be level 8. So at some point during one of these 4-pack battles, you should see them try to get Locke to run away while Edgar and Terra remain. And that's achieved through something that was discovered fairly recently, and that's, or at least published fairly recently, in that each character has a different run speed timer, or run speed bar rather. So you can see their action gauge bar filling up. And in order for a character to run, not only does their action gauge bar have to be full, their ATB bar, as it's called, but they also have a hidden run gauge bar that has to fill up before a character can run. And Locke has the fastest shared among Shadow and 1 or 2 other characters. Whereas something you'll see later on is Cyan has one of the slowest, and that ends up becoming a burden later on.
So one thing we're going to want to hope is we're going down this all. I'm not sure if you mentioned it or not, but we want to try to avoid getting the Bane touch from these Trilliums. If we get that, we have to always go into our menu and get rid of the poison right away. Just not a fun time for any of us.
Yeah, that's one reason why we give the Atlas Armlet to Edgar, is because usually he can just one-shot them with his auto crossbow with that.
Alright, so you mentioned the levels we were supposed to get to before Vargas, I'm assuming, as well? I had to step away for a second. Alright, so, for the Vargas fight, first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to wait for Terra's turn, and we're going to cast a fire on one of these bears. After that, we're going to have Edgar use his awesome auto crossbow, and we're going to equip the Mithril Pike if we didn't already. As we see on Benshow doing that, and we're going to equip that Mithril Blade on Locke, and then we're going to throw him in the front row. We wait until the second turn to throw him in the front row, just to make it so he takes a little bit less damage. Then basically from this point on, we can just hold A or do some weight tricking if you are trying to get a specific time for Doomfist skip. And that all depends on when Vargas decides he wants to attack first and how his ATB is. So I see Aezir having to farm a couple extra encounters here since he's obviously not gotten his levels yet. He should hopefully get them from this encounter though.
Yeah, meanwhile, it looks like both Daniel and Ben have hit their damage gate, and Sabin has appeared, meaning that the Vargas fight is basically complete. All they have left to do is use Vargas's face as a speed bag, using the Pummel Blitz.
So it looks like we got 2 really fast Doomfists at least.
And XCodes has hit the damage gate as well, so he's not very far behind Ben here, so it should be they'll be pretty close. No way to call that race yet. And with Aezir in his Vargas fight, can't call that fight either. Still very, very close.
There's a lot of RNG that happens from this point onward that can completely change the course of this race.
Yeah, most of the RNG comes in 3 main spots. Phantom Train, Hunting Down Gao, and Serpent Trench. Well, okay, 4 spots, and that's turn 3 of Kefka. So there's 4 main RNG spots that can really decide a race.
Well, there's also all the encounters you can get while walking through the other 2 scenarios as well that can completely throw off everything, because if you get lots of preemptives, you can get if you know the tech for the instant runaways off those preemptives, you can save a lot more time than waiting to throw a smoke bomb.
This is true, but that's usually less of a factor than those other 4 main RNGs.
You say that, yet those people who know that tech are the ones that are getting those sub 130 times consistently, so...
This is true.
It is a huge thing that saves that time, but it's only something that the top runners will be doing. I'm not sure if we'll see any of that in this run at all.
Yeah, that's something scrubs like me don't know.
Also, there is this part here that is another big gate, which is the returner's hideout. There is a chance that you can soft lock when you first enter here, and it's based on that guard that's walking over to the right there that we saw a little while ago. He can decide to block you and the other guard, causing you to have to reset your game. It's guys knows.
We've actually seen that soft lock this tournament, and that's just heartbreaking to see, especially and you see it happens to you once, you safety save outside of the returner's hideout every time after that.
I think so far in this tournament it's happened 3 times. From what I understand.
3 times?
Yes. Once
I've
each
only
round.
seen. Wow, that's. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it happened to, I believe Fizz had it happen to him in the first round. Nitsky had it happen to him in the second round. Then Zets13 had it happen to her in the third round. So.
Oh, is that what happened to Zets?
Yes, that's what happened to Zets last night.
Oh, jeez, that's redonkulous. See, I was there when it happened to Nits.
Yeah, it happened to Zets last night. Or 2 nights ago. It was really unlucky for her. And I believe it happened to Fizz in the first round from what I've read in the Discord. So, really unlucky that we've had that many soft locks in this tournament. Especially when it's a 1 in 256 chance or something like that, I was told.
Yeah, that's what I was told when it happened to Nitsky. It's a 1 in 256.
Alright, here comes our last person to walk through. It looks like his guard is in a good spot, so.
Yeah, and it looks like both Ben and Daniel have denied Bannon 3 times. And are getting ready to make their way down to the Leet River.
No, everybody's good today. Nobody got the soft lock here, so we are all good on that. Oh. I always feel bad whenever a racer doesn't save in front of here and they get that soft lock, and basically it's just an instant forfeit for their race.
That's the kind of thing where, like, just to almost keep things fair, you almost hope for a party-wide ice 2 at Kefka for the other racer, just to give the other one a chance to catch up.
But thing is, with a safety save there, it doesn't give you any time to catch up. And if people watch the restream and they see the soft lock happen, they know that person is basically restarting from the beginning of the game. And they have to sit through the whole cutscene again that we skipped through off the start. They have to do it all without a step route after that as well. So it's not really, it's something that if you see it happen, you're going to save there anyways. So for Benshow, we see him doing, and also, what's that one? Need to look at here. Sorry, guys. And Daniel, we both see them resetting here at their save screen. We do one reset at the save menu, then we reset again. This is for the river nip. We have to wait for that NPC to step onto the carpet there. Doing this will give us 0 encounters throughout the entire river, and it looks amazing. Well, we get 2 that are going to be there every time.
That are mandatory. You get the 2 mandatory encounters at the start of the river, and then none after that.
So we're going to see most of the fighters take this 2 Pterodon fight. And this is just going to get Edgar to level 11, and will add a little bit more safety to our Kefka fight, along with Ultros as well.
Not just safety, but extra damage as well. And to Edgar, who's basically the main damage dealer and powerhouse of this run, the extra damage and safety to him is very, very welcome.
Yeah, well, the safety is that extra damage, though. It's not anything else that is the safety. The safety is that little bit of extra damage you're going to get from getting the extra level here. So
all that and the extra hit points he gets.
The hit points don't save him from anything, though. He'll be full health and he can die to a poison instantly from the rolls from it. So it's not like he doesn't gain that many hit points, I don't think. I think he gains maybe like... I guess he gains like about 30 hit points. But it's not really much to make it any safer. Because usually the person who's going to survive is going to be Sabin, if anybody survives from the Ice 2 hit. And that's mostly if you equip him with the... I want to say the Mithril Shield is the safest thing to put on him.
All that and the ninja gear from Shadow.
Yeah. So for Ultros, it's a very heavily scripted fight, so we manipulate this to our advantage. Basically,
Go ahead.
We use a fire with Terra at a specific point to avoid a certain attack, which is a tentacle on Terra, and if we do that, she'll just get an ink on her, and for the most part, the fight will just keep on going, and if you're doing everything correctly and having a really good Ultros fight, you are going to see absolutely no other attacks from Ultros, which is amazing. Or if you see any other attack, it's just going to be an attack on Sabin, and he'll just brush that off anyways. There's also an older strat that some people do still elect to use, which is Riot Blade strats, where they're going to try to force Terra down into low HP values right away by getting the ink and then having Ultros do the delicious morsels still. So, looks like we might be seeing a Riot Blade strat here.
The problem with the Riot Blade strat is the desperation attacks are like 1 in 16?
Yeah, it's a 1 in 16 chance, and it can only happen after, I think it's like 25.6 seconds have passed by or something. It's just some arbitrary value, and basically if you can get off that desperation attack, it's faster 1/16 of the time.
Looks like we have Daniel and Ben here. They've picked up Shadow and they're heading towards Camp Cutscene, while Aezir here is still on the Leet River, heading towards Ultros. The gap between those two is just getting bigger and bigger. But this is where he's going to have a chance to make up just a little bit of space, but not a whole lot in the way of time. Because, ladies and gentlemen, it's everyone's favorite summer camp. It's Camp Cutscene.
So one thing we didn't mention is that they talked to this nice ninja type character, Shadow, who is kind of like a mercenary, and we just don't name him anything. We just leave his name as Shadow. He's the one character that doesn't matter for us to rename, since he has so little text boxes in his entire run. It's not worth deleting his 5 characters to save some time. We might get to see some fun things happen with him. He has one of my favorite things, and I'll explain that a little bit more when we actually start fighting with him inside the camp here.
And now we meet our old grizzled samurai warrior, Cian. Who is 50, not 30. That was the discussion that Natara and I had with chat a couple of days ago.
Alright, so one thing we see Benshow doing is we saw him equip the sprint shoes on Cyan. That's going to make it so he can run around a little bit faster, and we changed the battle speed up to 1. The reason why we did that is because we want the enemy to attack as soon as possible here. Because we're going to use ability called Retort, which is a counter, and the sooner the enemy attacks us, the sooner we get the counter against him.
And I did see Ben get the black belt, but did you see if Daniel got the black belt?
Yes, Daniel just got the black belt as well. He just finished his fight right now for us. So, for the black belt drop off that enemy there, it's a 7 out of 8 chance you get the black belt, or a 1 out of 8 chance that you get a Phoenix down as a drop off of him. So basically, you're always guaranteed a drop, it's just one or the other, and we want the black belt. So we can sell it for money in this and get some extra smoke bombs to make it so we don't have to play around with him quite as much later on.
Yeah, basically once we get past, once we hit the Serpent Trench, we actually kind of want Cian dead. And that's because, well, we'll explain that once we get there. XCodes getting into his leader fight, as Aezir has made friends with the ninja Shadow.
So there's one thing that I wanted to mention about that guard fight now that I'm pretty sure I just saw it on XCode's side, is that when you use the retort against him, this enemy has a chance to counter. So even though you're countering him, he has a chance to counter you back.
I counter your counter with my counter to your counter with my counter to your counter?
Alright, so now we're going to want to take off some of Shadow's gear here. We're going to want to equip, save him with all the awesome gear, and change our battle speed back to 6. Also, we want to make sure we remember to put him in the front row. We need him in the front row because he'll deal the damage he needs in order to kill off these Templars and soldiers. Well, at least the soldiers anyways. The Templars we're going to use Orbolt, so that doesn't matter as much for. Or Pummel, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, and we just need to kill these off as quickly as possible. We're going to have Shadow throw the air lancet that we picked up back at the Returner's hideout, and we're just going to blitz the last Templar. Every once in a while you get lucky and get an interceptor attack out of Shadow, but it's not something you tend to count on.
Yeah.
And now, Kefka is going to be making his world-famous camp cutscene grape drink Kool-Aid that everybody absolutely loves, and they say it's just to die for. And now we see that Cian has learned that everyone has drank the Kool-Aid, and, well, they agree. It's to die for.
So you'll notice a lot of enemies in this camp seem to want to have the counters, and also we see that we might... oh, that didn't quite kill? Oh, you know it did. Okay. I was wondering, did that takedown not actually kill that Templar? So we did see a takedown on XCode's side, which is awesome. It saves him a little bit of time. He doesn't have to wait for Sabin's next turn, so he's definitely going to save a little bit of time with that.
And now Cian has rushed headfirst berserk mode into the camp full of guards, and he's taking them all one by one. And it looks like we might... oh, nope, there it goes.
So one thing to note is that these first two encounters in this, you can actually get either 3 or 4 grunts in them. We're always hoping for 3 because it will save us a little bit of time. We'll only have to go through one set of attacks. We won't have to wait for another person's turn because of that. And we're also hoping that Cyan decides to be nice and just straight up attack rather than using dispatch, because the dispatch animation takes a lot longer than its just normal attack animation.
Yep, and in these 3 battles, Cian also has a black belt effect on, so he will, if he gets attacked, he will randomly counterattack. So you kind of want to see Cian take all the damage for you.
Benshow getting the best possible RNG for this cadet fight here. Basically, we want Cyan to attack one of the front enemies here, because then we can just orb out the final one and be done with it.
DanielRGT getting the same good RNG there, with the exception of getting a dispatch instead of an attack. But still, 1 round. And then we get to see the Magitech armor shenanigans with Cian, not knowing how to pilot them and just running around like a madman, running over troops. And then soon can't talk. We get a couple of quick little Magitech armor fights, just like at the beginning of the game. And then we're gonna, we do see Daniel doing just a little bit of inventory management during the attack animations. And this is where we see the second possible set of run validation, where you can get the rainbow beam using a fire beam, an ice beam, and a bolt beam. Doesn't look like Daniel does that here. Choosing rather to do some inventory management.
Yeah, you want to move around your inventory a little bit here just to make it a little bit easier for your section later on. It's nice if you can have your Phoenix Downs and potions re-up at the top and move some stuff down at the bottom for some of the stuff we're going to be picking up in the next little bit here just to help us out. So you're going to notice that these runners are going to walk really weird down this way as well. There's some tiles that are dead tiles that don't increase our step counter, which helps us walk farther without taking any encounters, which is great because we want to try to get through this forest as much as possible without the encounters. And being on step route will make it so that we see the exact same encounters every time in this forest. We're always going to see a ghost for the first 2 fights, just a single one, and then for the 3rd fight we run into in this forest, we're going to run into 3 ghosts.
And it looks like we do see XCodes here going for the rainbow beam. And here we see that they are getting onto the Phantom train here, where the step route here is particularly restrictive. They're not going to have basically any extra steps to work with once they get past this second train car. In fact, you'll see them grind out at the end of the second train car to a battle, and then we'll have, I believe, at most 1 extra step to work with, if that.
No,
in fact, I don't even think they have that.
You do not get a single step after you're done forcing this encounter. You have to walk perfectly from this point onto the veldt. So some runners you'll see take this part very slowly, and it's going to be very tight.
Yeah, and the problem with that is that if you take that extra step, you're going to get a grasshopper fight between the Phantom train and Barren Falls. And the problem with that is if you do get that fight there, you're going to get that fight on the veldt as well. And the grasshoppers themselves aren't particularly dangerous. It's just they have an ability that berserks one of your characters. And if you know this game at all, you know that a berserked character will just automatically attack anything every time. Well, not anything. They will attack the enemy every time. Without warning, no stopping. And when you're trying to find Gao, and if you hit him and smack him, he runs away. That can cause problems. However, there is a strategy to kind of help manipulate that a little bit and make it work in your favor, but it is a little bit of a time sink.
Also, one thing to note also is once you are on step route from this point on, you cannot stop for the ghost. You need to walk straight past them.
Yeah, and if they're blocking your way, well, you gotta wait for them to move. No moving off to get out of their way. You gotta wait for them to move.
XCode's still forcing an encounter here, even though he must have saved a lot of steps somewhere. I don't know how, but this guy's still going encounter now, unless he might be ahead of an encounter now than where he should be.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I missed it there. But it looks like he moved too far forward there when getting the no escape counter, so he's going to be off step route. One little hint there. In the second train car, the second ghost is actually a merchant. So if you feel like you need to pick up some extra supplies, you can do so there prior to getting off step route. Or without going off step route, rather. Ben going into his Phantom Train fight. Let's see if he properly validates his run as the train. Yes, he does take the train down to Suplex City. Sabin suplexes a train, can't suplex a fish.
Yes, you
but
can.
You do see here that they spend one of their 2 Phoenix Downs here to insta-kill the ghost train, and that's because it's a ghost. And by raising a ghost to life, it dies. Final Fantasy logic, everybody.
So I just want to point out that was an insane gold split for him.
Yeah, that was a gold split by almost 20 seconds.
Not by almost 20 seconds, a minute and a half is what it says from the previous segment. So he's saved 20 seconds from his PB now because of it.
Oh wow, yeah, you're right. That was just 20 seconds on for the segment, but yeah, he's almost a minute and a half up on his PB. So yeah, as long as he continues at this pace, he's looking at a serious PB here. And I missed it, chat. Did Daniel suplex the train?
Yes, I believe he did.
Okay, so we have 2 validated runs.
Alright, and now we've got our 3rd Phantom Train spot here.
And we'll see if XCodes is going to validate his run.
He is not. He
does not.
He throwing the Phoenix down.
Oh no! He wasted the Phoenix down on Sabin. That means he's not going to be able to do the Rise of Pass skip.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to do that now, but there is ways to fix that anyways, so... There's going to be... there are backup strats for it. I hope he knows it. Also, I just want to point out that there's this point in this game that we have XCodes coming up to that Daniel already has been through and Benshow has already been through as well, where we just basically have to sit there for a little while. So we do a little bit of equipping. We equip Sabin with his earrings we grab for him on the train and the True Knight. And then we move our items to be set up on potions, and we move down to the equip selection so we can unequip Cyan right before this Piranha fight we have here.
Yep, what we're seeing here on Ben's stream, and what we'll be seeing coming up here on Daniel's real quick, is what's lovingly known as the Rise of Pass skip. And what you're going to see is they're going to kill off Sabin and then res him. And the reason for this is that it's going to glitch out Cian's retort sword tech. So what you're going to see is Cian's going to load up his retorts, and Sabin is going to fail suplexing a fish. Can suplex a train, can't suplex a fish. I don't understand.
Yeah,
but when he misses that, it's going to automatically trigger the retort and kill the fish, and then the game goes, this got hit with a physical attack and a magical attack in the same turn. I don't understand what's going on. Just go.
no Grasshoppers there for XCodes as well, so that's good for him. His velocity could be a little bit different, but for the most part, he's going to be able to have no problem with that. But hopefully he knows a strat to, well, one of the backups for if you don't have Phoenix Downs at this point. Alright, we're getting our last suplex of the day. Yeah, it is. You do have to fight Rizapos, but you also want to not just go all insane on him. I don't know why he's killing off his Cyan without a Phoenix down, though. Basically, you're going to wait for a certain amount of time to go by in the battle now. Because the longer you wait in the battle, after a certain point, Rizapos is scripted to appear at that point when the Piranha dies. So he's just going to be waiting until that point in time, and then he's going to flip it over to become Rizapos.
Daniel making Sabin and Cian dance a little bit while waiting for their turns in combat.
So what he's going to hope for is no El Niños here. El Niño will basically wipe his party entirely. So he's going to play it really safe and keep his party up to full health. And just constantly be aura bolting and using the dispatch in order to take down Rizapos, which it looks like he's through it just fine. No problems there.
Meanwhile, Ben has met the patron saint of this tournament, the dirty little kid Gao. Everyone, get your kappas ready. And it looks like DanielRGT has also found Gao. So, yeah, that little segment of RNG has been very kind to both of them.
Yeah, Daniel's having a great run as well. He's a minute and 44 seconds ahead of PB. All these runners are actually ahead of their personal bests, so that's really awesome to see in a run like this, especially if you just want to try to improve. Like, you want to try to beat your opponent, but you also want to try to improve your time as well in these. So it's great to see them all doing their best and improving their personal bests. XCodes is ahead of PB by 19 seconds right now. Alright, so now since we got Gal first try on... Oh! Benjo had his Gal just die. He has a tent in his inventory. I hope he'll use it here.
Yeah, it looks like he does. Keep those kappas coming, Chad. Spam them kappas if you got them.
It looks like XCodes was on step route, but he got his one encounter really late. I don't understand what happened with that.
Ooh, triple bomb, not good. Ooh, Blaze, not
okay,
good.
He's a little bit off the step route, but ooh, that Blaze might... Oh yeah, now he's gonna have to run away from this encounter.
This is not good. I hope he's saved.
Because for Gao, he can't show up when any of your party members are dead. So...
Yeah, Gao has a 5 in 8 chance of showing up as long as it's not a back attack, a pincer attack, or if any of your party members are dead, or if it's a specific pack. And the bombs cooperate for the rest of it.
One thing to know about those packs that you can't encounter them on is those packs are actually 5 enemy encounter packs.
It's like with, you know, Obsidian dies very quickly, and that's because, as we mentioned earlier, each different character has their own hidden run gauge, and Cian's, like we said, Lox is the quickest, but Cian's, being a 50-year-old samurai in heavy armor, noble, he has the slowest run timer in the game, tied with Strago and someone else. But yeah, Cian takes forever to run, so we actually kind of want him to die.
Alright, so XCodes has found his Gao, which is great.
Oh, bad.
Ooh, an unlucky pincer on Daniel's side, but he gets a nice quick kill on the side there that he wants a side for, so he's going to be able to get out. Hopefully Gao will be able to escape. Wow, Gao with 12 HP. Is this before the cave, though? Like the last encounter before the cave? Yeah, it is. Okay, good.
Yeah. Looks like Ben has safely made it to Nakia. And it looks like he's going to be going with the extra Mithril Pike strat.
Yeah, most of the people here are going to be going for the Mithril Pike strats for this. The rune
Yeah,
blade
that's
isn't.
because...
Yeah, it's
Go ahead.
mostly because the rune blade isn't really required because you can't crit with it for one thing because we don't have any of the. We don't have any MP on Edgar right now, so we can't crit with it. So we'll have a chance to crit with having the Mithril Pike for one thing, and the Rune Blade is more sold than used in the other runs of this game, I do believe.
And Ben on to his lock scenario here. Missing the first guard skip, getting the second, and he is off to the cave to South Figaro.
Yeah, we're gonna walk this the same way we walked it originally to get into the South Figaro because we want to step on those things that will not increase our step counts again. So you notice he moved his lockdown to the second slot there. The reason for that is there's one encounter in this cave that can be very scary with lock. It's one of the Primordites and a Gold Bear. If that's a pincer attack, when you be on the second slot, you'll be facing that Gold Bear. And we'd want to be facing him because he can one-shot lock if he's not facing him.
Alright, chat, last chance, spam them kappas. Now you'll see coming up here on Daniel's stream once he gets out of this this back attack here, he's going to be taking a small route diversion to pick up a Thunder Rod out of a chest. And the reason for this you'll see up here on Ben's stream is Locke's going to talk to some voices in his head about a runic blade or something like that. And then he's just going to take that Thunder Rod, break it over the tunnel armor, which is going to cast Bolt to bypass all magical defenses for max damage, and just shock the system, and he's going to laugh as it explodes. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the easiest boss fight in this run. And I hope you didn't hold your breath or blink, because Locke's scenario is now complete.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that the shortest part of this entire run, even shorter than going and fighting Welk, is Lock scenario. It takes about 3 minutes to get through. It goes by really fast, and it's super easy to get through.
Yep, and Daniel finishing up on his tunnel armor fight.
I noticed by looking at his inventory, he did not pick up that Mithril Pike by the looks of things. So we might get to see the Moogle room here.
And remember when Locke was bringing Terra out of Narshe and said, "Hey, if you ever need this, if you ever need to get back in, remember this nice little back door. Well, here's where you need to remember it." So now Ban and Terra and Edgar are sneaking in the back door to Narshe, back through the salt mines. So this is pretty much one of the easier scenarios going through vanilla. Just running back through, same enemies as it was coming back out. This right here is basically one of the hardest parts of this entire scenario, is this security checkpoint. But we don't got time for that. So we're just gonna get up as close, follow it as until we get back up to as close as we can to the door, and then we're just gonna break right through by holding up an A. And the first frame that it activates is, well, it's the glimmering light that breaks the seal, and we're just gonna pop right on through.
Bensho just barely missing his Mithril Pike equip there. You want to do that while you're in a smoke bomb animation, which he was trying to do there. He should be able to do it on this one here, hopefully. Yeah, he got it now. So we do that to save some time because we don't want to open up the menu to equip something if we don't have to. Alright, so we got our final, or our second last tunnel armor fight, I guess, where we're just going to be able to use our awesome Thunder Rod, break it, and destroy him for the 14,000 damage that he deserves to take. Or 1,400, not 14,000.
Well, he deserves to take 14,000 damage.
Alright, so pretty soon here, we're going to see if Bensho decides to do a safety save before Kefka. He might not. He's a little bit behind his splits, but I think he's probably going to go and just have that extra safety due to it being a race here. I know that some runners...
Go ahead.
I know some runners actually do watch the race to see exactly how far ahead they are from their opponent, approximately. There's, of course, stream delay, but if they see that, oh, I'm in this part where they're just starting this part, they'll most likely opt to do the safety save if they know they're ahead.
I'm a big proponent of always safety saving because you just never know when Kefka decides, nah, you're gonna die. Okay, it looks like both Ben and Daniel have completed all 3 of their scenarios, and they are headed up the mountain to the final tri-party battle.
Okay, so I know that you guys can't see this, but Bencho's like freaking out at his camera right now. At least he was over just like telling them to go. It looked like it was pretty awesome.
Yay, more cutscenes. Just go, go, go. Go. And Ben does decide to safety save here.
Yeah, it's definitely what we want to see, is a nice safety save there. Especially with him knowing that he's probably is well aware that he's ahead here. And I can't see Daniel not taking one unless he sees, because he knows he's way ahead of his PB right now. Ben did safety save. Alright, so here we go. Our walk down. There is a tech in this that's called the Thing. Can't see any of these runners doing this.
Yeah, I don't expect either of these 2 runners to do the Thing. Mostly because if you pull it off, you save like roughly 8 seconds, and if you mess it up, it ends up costing you a couple of minutes.
Yeah, it's 2 minutes time loss for 8-second time save.
Oh, and it looks like Ben messed up and got the Ryder fight.
Well, let's hope Ryder doesn't kill off one of his party members.
Oh, he almost got Sabin.
Opting not to even throw a potion on him, I would have probably thrown a potion on him just in case Ryder decides to attack him again. Alright, so we might see him open up his menu and do a potion here.
At this point, I would do it.
Alright, here we go. Kefka.
Quick round 1 from Kefka. And the goal here is to avoid Kefka getting his 3rd turn, because on his 3rd turn he can cast a party-wide Ice 2 that's almost a guaranteed wipe.
Yeah, the only person who might survive that is usually Sabin, and that's only if you have him equipped with that nice mithril shield, typically. We got Cyan poisoned. Not the worst person to get poisoned, though, so that's good. But Edgar is pretty low on damage. If he even gets the bolt, Edgar's going to drop.
Well, I'll take a bolt over an Ice 2.
We've got our other runner.
He got the bolt. It's party-wide, but that's okay. That means he's pretty much got this fight in the bag.
Alright. So, we have an official SRL time for BenshowSly being a 1:29:03. So, GG to him. Let's go ahead and get you guys some different sound here. We'll go ahead and grab you guys that.
And a round 3 bolt from Kefka for Daniel, so avoids the Ice 2 there.
Alright, so we have another official SRL time coming in here. Bencho did not PB. We have an official SRL time of 1:29:32 for DanielRGT winning his race down below. With a 1-minute PB for him. So his first sub 130 run. So GG to him.
And we see here now both XCodes and Aezir have finished both of their 3 scenarios and are just now finishing up Cutscene Cave Town here. Just waiting for everyone to learn that Kefka is coming up, so we'll be seeing their tri-party battle here soon. Alrighty, XCodes getting his tri-party battle up in the Kefka up in the Kefka Mountains, up in the mountains of Narshe here. Started up. He should be fighting Kefka off here very quickly. Gets past the rider and on to Kefka. Ooh, Kefka missing with the bio. That's good news for XCodes. Well, single target bolt, so Edgar's dead, but that's his turn 3. So, yep, looks like XCodes is gonna pull this one out.
Alright, so we have XCodes finishing with an official SRL time of 1:33:19, which is a race PB by 2 minutes for him. So GG to that. Now we just have one more runner to get through this. I think he doesn't have a mic on, so we're going to go ahead and take his sound now. Hope. No sound at all. Aw. Well, we will play some sound for you guys for this one. Aezir hiding out in the first safe spot, heading over to the second. And heading into his Kefka fight.
looking pretty clean so far. Good, nice crit there from Edgar.